I've seen some familiar names and I've seen some new names that joining us. Welcome for those who just joined us. Today is the first session. So we are in today's the 21st. We're in one, two, three, four. We're in the fifth sessions. So we still have three more sessions left. Um, please note, one of the sessions, we need to make a minor change, just that one sessions. Please take note. We're going to move one of the date, which is on October 16. We are moving to the 9. So please make note and join us on the 9 instead. And I apologize for the inconvenience that may have cost. So just that one time, October 16 now is moving to October 9 at also 11 o'clock. Okay. All right, let's start. So good morning again. My name is Swan Do. I'm the director for the Women's Business Centers. Thank you again for joining us today for our digital marketing. Today's topic is boost your business, attract and retain customers. Before we start, let me introduce about PACE services again, because I've seen some new emails coming in. So PACE is collaborating with the PACE business, and we're offering a broad ranges of services, including individual counseling in areas such as credit, finance, marketing, minority certifications, and building your capability statement when you're ready. We also provide business development trainings, mentorship, technical assistance, lead by expert business counselors, should I say. These services are designed to support both startup and also established business. In addition, through PACE Finance, WBC facilitate access to capital via loan packagings and microloans. We have a total of 5 business types of loans that you may qualify. If you feel like you need a business loan, please reach out. We are a CDFI certified. We're also an SBA micro intermediary loan fund. So reach out for to get more assistance if needed. So without further ado, I just want to introduce Patty, of course, our famous marketing person. Everybody know Patty. So I just go ahead and give Patty the time right now. Patty,
Perfect.
welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Hold on one second. Let me share my screen. And go. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna even try it again. So we're just gonna be in this mode instead of a full screen mode. We're having a little bit of technical issues with showing the actual slideshow view. So hopefully everybody sees this big enough. Looks good. I'm just going to make the slideshow smaller on this so you can see more of the screen. Okay, perfect. So yes, this is a business booster, attract and retain customers, obviously via email. I am a constant contact authorized local expert. The content is a little bit of me and a little bit of constant contact, of course. So, and at the end, keep your cameras ready, your camera phones ready. There'll be a couple of QR codes with some signups and a little free gift from Constant Contact at the end. So that will be the last few slides. So keep those cameras ready. So a little bit about me for those who haven't yet met me, at least virtually. So I have been in the online space, as you can see here, for a million years, since the internet dinosaurs roamed the earth, as I like to say. And I do work with B2B, so business to business, business to consumer, even little business to government. I see different types of businesses that I do work with privately. I do teach classes for obviously PACE and SCORE and SBDCs and other groups and organizations. And I do serve the local business community. I'm on the local Venice Chamber of Commerce board here in Los Angeles, as well as the National Association of Women Business Owners, and serving on a committee with BizFed Los Angeles. So that is me. So to start here on the world of marketing and advertising, so some of you may have seen this slide before. And just real quick before I continue, just make sure we do have both chat and Q&A. I'm just going to grab them so I can see them. So if you have any specific questions on any of the material during the class, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A. Keep the chat for just chatting, networking. Like I said, you're welcome to share your LinkedIn information or email, or not email, website, whatever you want to share. Collaborate, network, connect in the chat, and then any questions in the Q&A. So there's that. Okay. Enough housekeeping there. So, like in the world of advertising and marketing, again, some of you may have seen this before in some of my other classes, right? Where do you go, right? Where do you go and spend your time and money? And I know, my other marketing, advertising, PR colleagues, I say we probably confuse the heck out of business owners on where you should go, right? We should spend it on email marketing, which we're talking about today, social media, internet advertising, TV, radio, print ads, billboards, right? Affiliate marketing, Wi-Fi, text, like a lot. There's a lot going on here, right? So hopefully, right, always having a plan in place first before you go into any of these, where you're going to spend that time and money is very important. So have a marketing and business plan before you decide where to go, because not all of these are going to make sense for everybody. But email marketing is one of actually the best ROI of any marketing tool out there. I'm going to show you some stats just to prove that. So very important. So I'm glad you're all here to learn a little bit more about email marketing here. So a little quick survey and in the chat, put it all in one chat message if you can. So I want to know, do you currently have an email list? Do you use it? And how often you email? Is it weekly, monthly, whenever you remember, and once a year? And are you a constant contact customer? If you are, to say yes, CC. And if not, let me know which platform you do use. So you don't have to be in constant contact to watch this webinar, of course. So we have some no's, don't have a list yet. Let me look back. I have an email list. I use it once a week. Awesome, Angel. Let's see, we have no list. Okay, so a lot of contemplating how an email list. And I have hundreds of addresses, but not organized. Okay, definitely need to use it. Very important. Use it twice each month, not constant contact. I got no, 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 no. We'll change those hopefully to some yes, 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 yeses. A few more yeses, Nina. All right, I do use it MailChimp, not often enough. Perfect. Okay, so whatever tool you're using or not using, that's totally fine. And Suzanne says she does email plus her LinkedIn newsletter. Great, that's perfect. Quarterly, yes, quarterly, not left. So perfect. So very important. See a lot of familiar names here. Welcome, everyone. Very important to whatever platform you use, and you have a list or you're building a list, very important to use it. And you'll see why as I continue on here. There we go. So today's agenda, we'll talk. I'm going to show you some statistics here, a little intro to what Constant Contact offers, of course, how to grow your contact list, turning those leads into sales, and of course, follow up, very important. Let's see, would love to hear from folks on the chat about your preferred mailing list solutions, MailChimp, others. I'm shopping. I'll talk a little bit about that too. I have my own email marketing essentials class that's different than this one. I do talk about the different platforms and why you should pick ones over the other, and what's your, the decision making process, because there are a lot of options out there. So I'll touch on that even though it's not officially on the agenda. So that's the agenda for today. So most important slide of the day is this one here, right? The ROI, the return on investment of all of the marketing tools out there. Email marketing for many, many years, this has not changed, has the best ROI of any marketing tool out there. So for every $1 spent on email marketing, there's an average of, say, $36 to $44 return on investment, kind of bumps up and down throughout the years. Hasn't changed for years. You can see here, comparison to, say, social media is about half, less than half, whether that's organic or advertising. You can see things like banner ads or keywords. Mobile text marketing is $11. So nothing even comes close to the ROI on this. Now, does everybody get that same ROI on it? I mean, if you're doing none, right, you get zero ROI. But if you even get $2, $3, you're more than doubling your money already right there. But to get, say, 4,000% return on your investment, or even 2,000% if you get $20, $10, right? It's better than zero. So very important to use this tool. Hopefully, I always call this my drop the mic slide. I can just drop the mic and leave, but I'll go ahead and finish the rest of the slides here for you. But very important. This is, email's not dead. It still has been for a long time, most important and best ROI. Mobile, yeah. So mobile is text marketing, right? Be the same thing. And the SMS text marketing, mobile, what I mean by that. Perfect. So top 10 email marketing mistakes not to make. Okay. Some of you may be making them, and hopefully we'll avoid them in the future. So like I already said, no plan in place, right? Definitely before you spend any of your time and money anywhere, in the marketing and advertising world, definitely have a plan in place. Look at my marketing plan 101 class. I have it on YouTube. You can go to my website and find that link. I teach it live, probably on my calendar somewhere, but definitely have a marketing plan. Set your goals, know exactly who your buyers are. If you don't already know, your audience is your most important thing to have nailed down, right? Knowing all of the things you need to have before you start spending that time and money, as I mentioned. Assuming your customers don't want email. I hear this all the time. I don't want to annoy my customers with too many emails. And, it's like we're not annoying our customers by promoting our products and services, right? I never hear, I don't want to annoy my customer with a billboard ad or my social media posts or do a TV ad or whatever else that was on that, that universe of things out there, right? So definitely, we're not annoying our customers. We're promoting our business to our customers. So they do want to hear from you more often than you think. I'm going to show you another statistic here to show you that's the case. So, not collecting emails wherever you can. So ABC, always be collecting. Okay, so in this class, I don't show you all the different places, but obviously your website, your social media, you can ask for emails. You can do lead magnets, you sign ups at events, a lot of different places at networking events. Just make sure you don't just add people's business card information into your list without asking for permission, but a lot of different places, wherever you're going to get in front of potential customers, then that's where you should, keep gathering those emails. Not being consistent all year, of course, right? Some of you might be more seasonal, but I've been working with a holiday outdoor decor business since February. They do the big commercial displays out there for main streets and stadiums and all of that stuff. And I've been in like Christmas tree and twinkly light mode since February. By the time Christmas comes, I'm going to be like super over it already. But it's like they have to get ready, like tax, like someone says tax business. Even though you might be focused mostly on the tax season, like a tax accountant, right? All year, of course, people pay taxes all year round, but you tend to focus, but you still want to promote your business throughout the year. So there shouldn't be a time that you're not emailing out there, unless you're totally stopping business, would be the only time. No clear calls to action on emails. I won't be talking too deep on like what the best practice is on email. That's my essentials class. But important to make sure that whatever you want them to do, a thing you want them to convert, right? Go shop, go download something, whatever, call us, whatever that is, make sure you have a good call to action. And then using your personal, I split them up into 6A and 6B now because they really were two separate things. Using your personal email account. So that means if you use Outlook or Apple Mail or Gmail, you're sending promotional emails through those services. They were not designed for that. They don't follow CAN spam rules people to be able to unsubscribe. So you should be using a platform like Constant Contact or MailChimp or Klaviyo or whichever one's out there. So don't send them through your email account. And then using a freemium email as your main email. That means you're using a Gmail, a Hotmail, a Yahoo, AOL, any of them that are not a domain email. There's a couple of reasons for it. One is a more technical reason. Whatever platform you're using, they do require you to authenticate an email to make sure it is you that is that business and have that domain. So you can't do that with a freemium account. Also, I think professionally, it looks better to have a domain but to match your website address. It's like I pay $5 a month with GoDaddy to have an email. It's not that expensive and it looks more professional. And also, there are times when all I have is somebody's email address. And if it's something random at yahoo.com, I can't go and look at your website address, right? So if you see Patty at goldenstatemarketing.net, you can go to goldenstatemarketing.net and look me up, right? So definitely a couple of reasons. Technical would be on the authentication side of it, but that's, like I said, another class is bringing that up. Not using automation. So there are automation tools in all of the platforms. Welcome series, abandoned cart is considered an automation. Lots of things that you can do. Birthday emails would be automations. Not looking at statistics, all the platforms, when that's why you don't want to send them through your personal email. There's no open rates, click rates, and anything else. So you do want to use a platform to that and look and make sure things are working, right? If you don't look under the hood and look at what's working, how do you know you're spending your time and money wisely, right? And then not segmenting your list. So if you have the ability to segment them out so that you are hyper focusing people to the right message for them. Some of you may have just like one general message, or makes sense to segment it to different subjects or different types of groups and things. That's important to do. And then thinking everybody can do email marketing, right? It is such an important tool. Make sure you have somebody, whether internally or externally, that knows what they're doing with this tool. Don't just pass it off to your office manager or somebody who has no experience with it. Or I hear this all the time with social media, more so like, I'll just have my 17-year-old daughter because she creates really cool reels with trending audio and all that. Whatever marketing, don't hand it over to your kids. Okay. There is more strategy and that than just creating, cool videos for your social media. And especially with your email, it's very important that you pay attention to it. Somebody who likes doing email, understands the importance of it, can be consistent with it. So very important to do it right, based on that ROI. So a few more stats. This one very interesting too. So comparing social media to email, like who's hanging out on social versus who's reading their emails. And if you look at the top left, you'll see that mostly going to be 40 and below is the majority. Combining those three top first tiers there are mostly 40 and below. If you are an older market for your business, it's not as we're there, right? If old folks are there, but just not as heavily as the 40 and below. But if you look at email across the board, it's almost about equal. Only drops off a little bit, few percentage points for that 65 plus. So if I don't have anybody here in this room is a senior product or service, so say maybe your Medicare or home care agency or something like that, that primarily focuses on seniors, email is more of a way to go and to build that list. And not saying you shouldn't do social media, but you see that drop off compared to the younger groups. So if you're in the younger categories for most of your customers, do both, right? Everybody do both. I'm not saying don't do social media at all, but it's just interesting to see like we don't drop off at all in the older, that 65 plus. They're still, checking their emails there, right? And then it's actually one of the first things that we do, the first check of the day mostly is checking emails, right? So rather than checking social media and other things online. And then this important stat, right? How often they want to hear from their favorite brands, and that is you. If they signed up for your list, you're your favorite brand, right? So you could see here at least monthly, weekly is about 61%, but it really drops off. So if you're only doing it quarterly, annually, whenever you remember, maybe on the holidays, which is like around the corner, guys, it's August, right? I tell everybody like you should have if you're a fourth quarter driven this month, you have 9, 10, right? 10 days that left in August. You should have your holidays wrapped up by the end of this month, right? Is everybody doing that? Is everybody ready? Raise your hand. If you're holiday driven, you need holiday sales, right? Everybody thinks you have until October, but you should have it wrapped up now. All right, don't wait, don't hesitate. So you can see here, they do want to hear from you more often than you think, right? It's very important to remember that you're not annoying your customers. You're not going to see a huge drop off the more that you email them. If it's like every day, every other hour, maybe you'll see some drop off, but generally, if people are going to unsubscribe from you after getting a couple of emails, they're not your brand ambassadors. It's okay. I'll cry, I'll shed a little tear every time I see those unsubscribe, reports come in on my list, but I'm like, it's okay. It's like less than 0.000% of a percent. So they just don't want my services or not interested. That's okay. Some people just lose interest or find something else. That's okay too. So don't not send emails because you're afraid if you might unsubscribe. That's my point, right? Yes, and you will, Tina, you'll get the slides and assets and everything from the class. And yes, you'll have my information at the end to reach out for a strategy session. So we'll keep talking about how often and all that. Somebody just asked that. There we go. Okay, so constant contact course, because this is a constant contact class and material, we talk about that. Of course, there are other tools out there as well. So definitely Constant Contacts, I think 26 here, 1995. I think I've almost been using it as long as it's been out. I remember using it way back in the day, but I've used a lot of different programs out there. So, but Constant Contact definitely has expanded, and a lot of the other ones have too. They offer more than email, 28 years of experience. It says here, ensure your emails get delivered 97% of the time. That's an important stat. Most of the tools, I'll say it's not just a Constant Contact thing. Most of the tools deliverability is always above 90%, right? So if you send out, a hundred emails or 1,000 emails, over 90% will get delivered in the inbox. That little percentage that doesn't is the bounces or some technical reason that doesn't get in the inbox. But you compare that to social media, especially Facebook, where 2% organic reach on average. So if you had 1,000 email subscribers, 97% of those people are going to get your email in the box. Not saying they're going to open it, but it gets in their box. It's sitting there waiting for them to open. You had 1,000 followers, say on Facebook, only about 2% are going to actually see that post, right? So big difference how important it is to send out emails because that reach is there. You get that high number dropping into the inbox, right? Scroll up there. Okay, so definitely one interesting thing with Constant Contact, I'll just compare it to MailChimp, is MailChimp's changed obviously recently. They've taken their total free version off of the market. Now you can get a couple free months, or sorry, free weeks of free trial. But they were known for the free 2,000, very generous under 2,000 subscribers. Didn't get phone support. You did I think basic chat support if you had that at all, or email support. But the one thing Constant Contact was always known in comparison to that is you can pick up the phone anytime. Didn't matter what level you're at. There was no over free accounts anyways, but they're always known, people like them because you're able to pick up the phone and get them to help you out if you need that. So very important tool. And then these are all the different things that Constant Contact offers. So in addition, of course, to email marketing, you can post your social media on here. Definitely automation tools. They have AI. A lot of them have AI added into it, integrated into it. You can do text marketing through here, create landing pages, even create your ads. There's event registration here as well, and help you build your list and do surveys. So it's more than just email these days out there. So those are the tools. So let's talk about growing your contact list. Okay, that's why we're here. So, so interesting. So what is your reaction to receiving an unsolicited email if you're receiving any, right? Do you worry about how they got your address? Do you mark it as spam? Do you unsubscribe? Right? So you do want to make sure that all email you get permission to send, right? There's always a lot of grayness I hear about all the time. Well, I collected them for some other business, but then I want to put them in for this business, or, I gathered a list at a conference, but they didn't really opt in. And, there are a lot of different reasons why you might have obtained a list, but you just always want to make sure best practices are that they are at least opted in to receive it, right? We all want to be opted in. And so how do you get them to the yes to receiving your emails, right? So if we have to ask, right? They could say yes verbally. They could check a box during a purchase, right? You'd have a sign up form of some kind, your subscription sign up, or maybe at the end of your sale, make sure there's a checkbox. Would you also like to receive the latest news from us, right? Obviously using an online form, right? Let's see. Well, somebody asked, are all of these features on slide 14 in a monthly fee, or just no, so all of them would be included in your subscription, and there's different levels. So you could look and see what's included in each of the levels, but it's not a separate, like I only want to pay for email and not pay for social media, but you can see what different levels they have. It's usually based on the number of subscribers that you have as well. So I definitely check that out. Good question now. Okay, so next one here. So again, different places to grow your list, obviously in person, online, we're in print, like I said, everywhere, right? Always be collecting in all the different places, right? Of course. And of course, in person, just ask, like some of you, I don't know, might have a storefront. Anybody here have a brick and mortar location that they do business from? You can raise your hand or say yes in chat. Yes. Okay, perfect. So Gail, first one to answer, do you collect email addresses and how, if you want to share, like what's your method of collecting in-house? So there's different methods. You could have your POS system, right? As you're making a purchase, you can have a sign up form, maybe a QR code out there to sign up. You can have just a handwritten list, a fishbowl to drop in business cards. Yes, I haven't done that yet. Oh, okay. So you have a location, but you just haven't started collecting yet. So you have some options to collect, right? Could be all of the above or some of them, like I said, maybe your POS system or a sign-in book, whatever that is. Again, while helping a customer, everybody's used to a QR code. Maybe it's offering a promotion of some kind to get them to sign up, join a loyalty program or something like that. If you attend events also, or, you're just at an event, all right, take a sip there. You want to make sure you have some way to sign up. Maybe you have an iPad or again, a fishbowl to get business cards or just simple little sign up slips or something. Just make sure you have those and you're asking for them. Right? And then collecting on different channels. So of course, on your website, you'd be surprised how many people do not have a sign up form on their website or it's not very visible. So best practices and with Constant Contact, and again, most of the other mail platforms, have the ability to have the pop-ups on there. It's called a mail gate, and then also the embedded form. I always recommend to have both, right? So if you can have the email pop up, because some people will do it right away as soon as it pops up, whether you offer an incentive or not, you don't have to offer free shipping or a discount or whatever. It could help, right? We all like those extra little discounts when we're shopping online. But I've done it where it's just like, hey, sign up for our list, and it's gotten both the embedded and the pop-up, and it's about equal. I did that with a winery I was working with. I haven't used it as a case study in my other class, where he only had the embedded form at the bottom and he got signups. He got a steady flow of signups, but I added the mail pop-up, and after a few months of waiting to see how it worked, it was about equal. The number went up. Surprisingly, though, I thought maybe the embedded form would do better, but it was about equal, about 50-50 that did the embedded versus the pop-up. So definitely make sure it's on your site, it's visible, make sure it's working and actually collecting, and make sure you know where it goes. The real world, I've had this happen before. People are like, I don't know, I think it's collecting, but no one knows where the emails go. So make sure you do check those out. Social media. So if you're posting online, create what's called an evergreen post, or something that goes up weekly or every other week, whatever frequency you want to do, that says, hey, join us on, sign up for our email list. Maybe it's exclusive offers through email or exclusive information and education, however you want to word it. Just to remind them to, sign up on your email list. In your email signature, really anywhere you can, ask for that. Have a QR code somewhere, again, as we mentioned earlier. Obviously, during the online purchase, you want to have, or if it's a nonprofit, a donation, right? Make sure there's a checkbox there to sign up for the list as well. And you can do an online lead ad as well. So you can do lead magnets. So and a lead magnet is something, you have something of value to give that they would want. So it could be like a white paper or something educational on what you do that could generate those leads as well. So, and there's landing page tool you can use to create those landing pages to encourage people to sign up, right? So, and they have Constant Contact has all those tools to create the embedded or the pop-ups, etc. for you. Right. And then definitely in print materials. So I did what are called rack cards for wineries. It's basically the long, tall, skinny cards. Like if you ever go to the hotel, they have all those tour things at the, at the check-in thing there. So that's what's called a rack. It's sitting in a rack card. So we put that on there and encourage people to sign up. They got a little discount for tasting if two people signed up. We collected emails that way, and we had a QR code on there. On your business card as well, I have a QR code on my business card. It goes to hi hello, which is business electronic business card, and one of the options is to sign up for my mailing list. on there. Join me on LinkedIn or connect with me here or there. So make it easy for people to actually sign up. Any flyers, brochures, or mail you have, make sure you're asking them to join. You can do text marketing, text to join if you want to do that. But definitely you can use a QR code, have it go to a landing page and dump into your email account, whichever platform you're using. Right. So why do people subscribe typically? Right? I mean, pretty much, right? We like promotions and discounts, right? We'll get that extra 10% or free shipping off of an order. Maybe there's exclusive content that we want. And sometimes it might just show support. Maybe you're signing up for a nonprofit that you want to support and you're going to subscribe to their list to get information, right? So understanding why is important, what people are looking for when they sign up, as well as what they're continuing to look for. Right. So make sure if they signed up, you said, hey, you get exclusive content, make sure you're offering content, right? Of course, offering those discounts and promotions to keep them going. Doesn't always have to be every single time they purchase, but you want to make sure that the mission is clear, right? Let's see. I'm confused on how to get names or email from website or LinkedIn page visitors. So, to get names or emails from websites, so you need to have a sign up form. Right. So on your website, you should have a place that sign up, subscribe to our newsletter or sign up for our mailing list, however you want to word it. And so that would go that you would set up if you're using Constant Contact, really any of the platforms. They all have it. You just go in there, create the form, whether it's an embedded or a pop-up or both, and then you drop that on your website, and that's how you collect it on your website. For LinkedIn, so there's a couple different things you need to do. I know Suzanne mentioned the LinkedIn newsletter, which is really a blog, so it's different than an email newsletter. But I have a client, I also think I started doing it as well, where they do the LinkedIn newsletter, which, like I said, is a blog, but at the bottom, they put a lead magnet like, hey, get my list of 52 reasons to do whatever it is. And then it goes to a landing page that collects an email. So she's taking people from LinkedIn and also adding them into the email list. And then we promote our LinkedIn newsletter in our emails. So we're capturing them everywhere we can. So that would be a way to catch them on LinkedIn. Just do it that way. Even do the evergreen posts, that say, hey, sign up for my newsletter to get exclusive content or interesting news or special promotions or whatever, however you want to do it on socials. Hopefully that answered that question, Amy. Good to see you here. How can you get a QR code? Excuse me. Very easily. So even in Constant Contact, you create one. Canva, if you use Canva, and then somebody put in here, there's a QR code generator there. Canva has QR code generators as well. There's one somebody just dropped into the chat as well. So there are different places to create QR codes out there. Pretty easy these days. Okay. I have a full page of notes. Okay, good. Already. All right. I like to hear that. Okay. So here's the remove the risk, right? And ease mind. How often are you going to email me? Are you going to share my information? Can I opt out? So you should have on the form that you do. There's generally some, standard language on there, but like we're going to email, we have a weekly email, we have a monthly, or are you going to share my information? Meaning our information is private. We don't rent, own, sell your information. Make sure you don't do that. You can opt out at any time, give them that assurance, whatever on your landing page that you're doing on your website. We don't do all of these things. Make sure they can opt out at any time, right? You're not going to share their information. And then you determine how often they want to email you. With Constant Contact, we were discussing this in another Constant Contact class I just did. This question came up of, can I segment my list of people? Say, well, I only, you might send out emails daily, but I only want to receive them from you once a week or once a month, whatever. There's no easy way to do, I won't say easy, but there's no like obvious way to do that. So what they recommend is to create different audiences, and then you can set it up so that the person who checks off once a week, they're in a different audience than somebody who checks off once a month. So there is the way to do that if you want to segment down that far. If people, I've only had somebody say, hey, can I receive less emails from you? And I might send 2 or 3 a week, depending on what classes I have coming up. But they're, if I wanted to segment them off into their own lists and go, yeah, you can be in my once a month email or once a week email. So there are some ways to do that as well. Some of the other platforms might have that built in as well. And then of course, as I mentioned, as in the pop-up, this what's called a mail gate. You can offer some type of discount or promotion if you want to, right? Or here's one, how to sign up for free adoption guides. This would be the lead magnet that I was talking about. So in this case, right, showing support, here's an animal rescue to get a free adoption guide, something of interest if people are looking to adopt potentially. Um, so this would be what's called a lead magnet. So you can have it drop in the email and then it can send them the adoption guide, or they can download it, depends on how you set that up. All right. And then, of course, exclusive content, get access to our free ebook. Again, this would be kind of a lead magnet as well, right? Because if something you have something of interest and you're interested in it, right? So taking those leads and turning them into sale, of course, I want to always do that, right? And I'm going to go back here to that. Somebody had asked that question about let me go with this before I continue. So somebody was asking about choosing an email platform, right? Because you were shopping around and what was the difference? I don't have the slides here, but really the things that you want to consider when you are looking for a platform, right? I say for me, they're kind of apples to apples. Over the years, I've been doing email marketing. I've used oh, not all of them. There's quite a few new ones out there I haven't touched, but all kind of the standard, going back to like, again, Constant Contact, Vertical Response way back in the day. I don't know if that one even exists. MailChimp, Klaviyo, SendGrid, Active Campaign. I can't remember all the ones I've used. So some things to consider. One thing first, don't go by price. I know that's the first thing people are looking at, like, I'm going to find the cheapest one, right? Oh, that one's too expensive. Look at the tools before you look at the price, right? So yes, we're all like, small business owners, and life is expensive and business is expensive, but this is such an important tool. This is where you don't want to skimp, right? Don't go with the cheaper tool. Well, it doesn't have this feature, that feature, but I want to save a few dollars. If it has the features that are going to help you grow and get that $40 average return on investment, is it better to spend that extra $20 a month to get that upgraded tools in the case? Or, so don't always go by price. Right now, that I don't think there's any, I think somebody might have mentioned one, I'm trying to remember who it was, that still offers a free account, right? MailChimp, that's gone. That's gone with the wind now. They may grandfather you guys in, but any new accounts, it's for two weeks free trial only. It's not a free account. So it's everybody's going to be by price. So I would say make sure you have all the features you want. You don't want to jump around. You don't want to start with, say, MailChimp and then jump to Constant Contact and then go to Klaviyo, unless there's some reason that you really need to jump. I wouldn't say jump by price, try to save a few dollars and get a free trial. Because if you switch around, each platform has to prime your list, right? Kind of getting your list out there in the world. So every time you change platforms, they have to then prime the list as well. So it's better to get the platform that you want and has all of the features you want. So you want to look, does it have sophisticated automation features? Does it have maybe spam checkers? A lot of them don't really have spam checkers or tools in it. But look at all the different things. Does it allow you to look and see a preview on different, mobile, a desktop, etc.? So make sure it has everything you want in it right then and there, would be the important things to look at. And ease of use, I mean, it's hard to like jump around and test them all out, but just make sure that you understand it. Do they offer customer support? Like I mentioned earlier, that was a big playing point between even MailChimp and Constant Contact, is that you could phone them, if you needed them on the phone. So those would be kind of the factors of what you're looking for. Make sure it's ease of use. A lot of people I know go by the price, but again, I would really, given the ROI, really look at all the options out there before you determine and see what they offer before you jump in, even if it's a few extra dollars, because it is such an important tool, right? So hopefully that answered that question. That's pretty much my basics that I talk about from the other class. So without having the slide in front of me, so important. Okay, so did you know, as you see here, you have 100 milliseconds to form an impression. Whew, that's not very much, right? Sounds like a lot. So, right, they're so very important. Each contact is important, right? They've met you, they know you, they've already maybe worked with you already, might be a customer. They may be a first yes of a relationship, right? They gave permission to be contact. So very important, right, to honor this, and you want things to keep in mind when you're doing email marketing, right? Make your from information recognizable. Okay, so we're talking now the from, the subject line and the preview line. We'll talk about that next. But who it's from, right? So in this case, you can see down the list. Now they did all promotional emails in the inbox here. Jack's Backyard Barbecue, Toys R Us, Old Navy, Famous Footwear, right? Very obvious who it's from. Maybe we're not Toys R Us or Old Navy or Jack's Backyard Barbecue, but I bring this up in my other class. Um, Depending on who you are, your business, your brand, you might want to put both on there on the from. So make it very clear. I have a client of mine, a coaching client of mine, who sends out emails, and she was using her business name. She has a business name, and one of her friends signed up for the mailing list, but then he quickly unsubscribed, and she's like, got upset about it. And she called him and said, "Why'd you unsubscribe?" And he said, "Oh, I didn't know it was from you." Because he didn't know her business name. He just knew her name. Now, if he would have opened it up, he would have seen her bright, shiny face right at the top of the email, knew it was her. So we wound up changing it to be her business or her name at the business name. So I do the same, Patty Ross at Golden State Marketing. So make it very clear. So you have, again, those milliseconds to appeal to them. So you want to make sure it's something that they recognize, right? Like Toys R Us or Old Navy. Very important. And then your subject line, right? Very important because, again, milliseconds to decide. And 48% or 47% of people decide to open the email based on the subject line alone. I kind of skipped ahead to a slide there, but very important to keep it. I want to show you some examples of what you should do. Good practices here. So again, with 4 to 7 words or up to 40 characters, because it will cut off, obviously, if somebody's on a mobile device there. And then your preview line, I don't have a slide for that. Your preview line right underneath there, or pre-header line, very important, kind of backs up your subject line. So you can see here, like Old Navy, the lowest uniform price of the season, and save, take 30% off your store. BOGO, buy one, get one half off. The only peach cobbler recipe you'll need, it's a view as webpage, lemonade party cake malt. That is something totally different. I don't like that one. 20% off. So again, very important to have both of those lines nailed down. Both are important. And let's see, I'm looking just to see if there's any questions before I go. Okay, we're talking about still QR code generators. All right, perfect. Glad you guys are sharers. I like that. Always a good place to get resources here in the chat. Okay, so let's talk subject lines, right? As I mentioned, almost 40% of 7 people open emails based on that subject line alone. Again, those milliseconds for them to decide if they're interested or not. So very important here. So, oops, you know what? I'm going to skip this slide because if I was in the actual presentation mode, it would go through a bunch of subject lines for you. So unfortunately, in this mode, that does not work. So I'm going to skip that. So different things to avoid in subject lines. I have the things that are on that slide I'm going to have in the next slides to give you ideas for subject lines anyways. So things you want to avoid, definitely free, guaranteed. I don't know why you put the word spam in your subject line, but don't put spam. Phrases like be amazed, your income, earn, act now, typing in all caps. Now I do some in caps. Like if you get my emails, I'll put webinars this week and then the rest will be in lowercase, but all caps, not necessarily, or using excessive symbols, punctuation, emojis. Actually, I just forgot that slide. 40 something percent of people, almost 50% of people will open it up if there's an emoji in the subject line. So that's something to maybe A/B test against, right? So definitely with spam checkers that I use, I worked at a credit union many years ago. I was an email marketing manager, and we used Salesforce. We had a very expensive email platform, and it's like $3,600 a month, not a year, a month. And it had a great spam checker for me to use. And it would, when we're talking with credit union, right, we're talking about money things. So there are things that we couldn't avoid, but we found that free because we would do free seminars, that we had offered. Back then it was seminars and not webinars. But we said, oh, let's change it to complimentary, and that passed the spam filter. But things that we couldn't avoid, we had to talk about credit cards and mortgages and money offers and things. So a lot of our things did go through spam filters, but whatever, we can't use another name, for a credit card or a mortgage or whatever. It's not compliant with the FDIC. So again, we had to just look, and there are spam checkers out there. There's one that I use called mail-tester.com. Is a good free one to use, right? Let's see, somebody asked, which do you recommend for email, for the email? Not sure what that question relates to. And I'll look at the Q&A as well. Which do you recommend for the email? Which do you recommend? I know people are asking, which do you recommend is the best? So if you're talking about the email platforms, are you asking that, Paula? Which email platforms about? So obviously I'm talking about Constant Contact today. I'm usually fairly software agnostic, so I would say I would never say one is the best, that which one is the best for you, right? So you have to look at it that way based on my things to why you're choosing different platforms. I use Constant Contact personally. I've used, for my own business. I've used others. I also use Brevo. I have my another list split into another platform, but I'm not going to say one is better than the other. Like I said, it's what's good for you. What are the tools that you need? Does it fit into your budget? And does it give you everything you want it to give you? Right. So they're all really good in their own ways. So I have to say, I don't have a favorite child, but of course, in a Constant Contact class, I do have to say Constant Contact is really good, of course, and they are. So let's keep talking about subject lines, right? I give you some examples of things. So looks like that got small. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can go up a little bit. Okay, so different things to look at. Sorry, I just jumped around there. Right, so I know this is a little bit small and I apologize because we're on this weird screen. So different things you can do, right? So exclusive news, right? Big news stories coming soon. Clever, catchy, keep those buns warm, right? What's next for cloud computing? Ask a question. You can get personal if you have the merge tag to add their name in the subject line. That definitely gets a lot. 50% emails are open if they have their name in the subject line. So great to meet you at Dreamforce last week. Thanks for joining us, Joe. Right? The how to grow your email list, how to remove stains, urgent, 2 days left to register, webinar today, right? Lists, people love lists, 10 pieces to add to your wardrobe now, 5 must have metrics. The scarce, right? Just 10 tickets left, limited time. Some more. So local, if you have a local hot in Houston, this week's events. Trendy topics, latest fashions, coolest apps, command, subscribe, join, stop wasting time, stop wasting your money. Offer, give them an offer. Could be controversial, right? Why your sales team sucks. Maybe a sneak peek. You tell how old the slide is from the version of the iPhone that's on, but all still applies here. So here's some other ones. Ooh, these are tiny. I'm sorry about that, but you'll get these slides. So things like fear of missing out, right? Uh-oh, your prescription is expiring. You're missing out on points, right? I just got one yesterday from Audible. You're gonna lose one of your free credits and shortly. Don't forget that I did. I prompted me to go get my free credit. Funny subject lines. Licking your phone never tasted so good. Curiosity. Don't open this email, right? What they eat in prison. I don't know if I want to know what they eat in prison. At least not personally, if I never have to. Let's see. Let me see if I can expand these. Just got no time. There we go. I think got a little bit more. Okay. Sorry, it's so small. Vanity. Don't wear last year's styles. Gift inspiration for the discerning cyclist. Greed. 25% off your favorites. 2 for 2. Sloth, right? Steal these email templates. 212 blog post ideas. Lots of great ideas here for your email subject lines. Pain points. Where do all these toys go? Stop wasting money on ink, right? Retargeting. So, right, hey, forgot something. Here's 20% off. Price drop for something in your cart. So, it'd be abandoned cart. Browse abandonment subject lines. Here's personal. Mary, check out these handpicked looks. Happy birthday, Mary. Surprise inside. So, a lot of great ideas for subject lines. A few more, even straightforward would, hey, this is a fundraising email, right? I don't know. Hey, Barack Obama. Sure, if we saw the name, we'd be more inclined to open it, perhaps, depending on who you like or not like. Boring can work too. So, sales and marketing newsletter. Don't make them all boring though, right? Don't want all boring. So I'm going to show you a little case study here. So I had a client and she's no longer a client. I'll tell you why at the end, which I'm kind of happy about that she's no longer a client. I love Jen. So when I started working with Jen, she's an advising client of mine in end of 2022 and or to just start fall of 22, and she's her initial product that she had was this uh collagen creamer product, and she had a chocolate and a chai flavored collagen creamer. So we're all familiar with collagen powder. It's very popular. A lot of people using it for health benefits, of course. It's we lose collagen as we age, and good for our hair, skin, nails, all that stuff. So she had this product, and she said she was pretty, steady with sending out emails, but she's like, okay, what do I do? Here's my product. Here's my product. I don't know what to send. But the first problem that she had before I could even fix her email problem was she had too broad of an audience. That was the first thing. So I had to do what I call wrestle the alligator with her, which is talk about her buyer persona, her audience. So when I asked her, who's your audience? Women, generally 20 and above. So it could be 20 until 100, all women in between of all ages up above 20. Anybody could use collagen. I mean, maybe not kids, but men and women, but generally she was targeting women, but still too broad, right? Because if we're talking about something that has health benefits, right? And her creamer had additional benefits other than the collagen. So you can see here on this top, it has MCT oil, which is good for better focus and energy, cocoa for good blood flow to the brain, and then prebiotics, all good for everybody. But generally, right, and also all the collagen benefits tends to be something that, again, as we age. So how is she selling this to a 20 something year old for 40 something, 60 something when we all have different needs, right? It's not just for, hey, this is a cool drink. It actually has some health benefits to it. So I suggested her, I go, it seems like your audience would really be probably women that are in the say 40, 45 and above, maybe even in the premenopausal or menopausal stage, because there's a lot of things going on that this product could help with. And she was very skeptical. She was like a lot of your businesses are like, I don't want to leave anybody out. But I say, if you're trying to help everybody, you might be helping nobody, right? Because you're too broad, and it's like the messaging is going to be different for those different audiences. So luckily, I have another client here in Los Angeles that actually runs an annual menopause conference. And I said, Jen, why don't you go and vend at the menopause conference that had been coming up? And she did. And she sold out of all their product, and that changed her trajectory of who her audience was, and then changed the subjects of the emails and how she promoted her business at that point. So I'm going to show you some of her examples. This is one. So here we go. It says bye bye brain fog hot cocoa recipe, right? So that's definitely one thing that starts happening is in the premenopause and menopause, start getting that brain fog. Not that other people don't, but we're targeting a specific audience. Here we go. Leave brain frog, leave frog, brain fog, cravings and low energy in 2022. Love Starbucks chai. Try this healthy swap. Had nothing to do with the audience itself, but the drink, definitely did taste like a Starbucks chai. And then here, get that healthy glow, 70% off, our bestseller. One simple hack to reduce fine lines and hydrate skin. Again, a list, at least one in a list. And of course, it hit the target audience. Older audiences dealing with fine lines, and also, we tend to get drier skin as we age as well. Want 18% fewer wrinkles and fine lines. Yeah. Our best deal of 2023, complimentary collagen. Giving something away there. Here we go. Anxiety, the hidden costs and what to do. And that anxiety was a GIF that actually her arms opened and closed like an accordion on that. Here's scarcity. Only 5 tubs left with the running lady emoji. You remember emojis, again, maybe 50% open rate on that. And here, share your feedback for a free gift. She wanted to get to do a survey. Here's curiosity. We've never done this before. What have you not done before, Jen? Right? That one, because we adore you. So Valentine's Day. Want to sleep like a baby tonight. Insomnia, also another problem with the new target audience, right? With menopausal women. A little Valentine's Day gift for you. And she gave a little, what do you call it, wallpaper for your phone. Here's a list, top 5 causes of hair loss in women. Again, another woman emoji there. Draw attention. You're invited to a glowing skin workshop, top 8 hair loss remedies out there. So again, targeting the audience, targeting the messaging on not just, here's my product, here's my product, here's my product. So once she, listened to me and changed her audience and attended my email class to learn about all the different subject lines and content to do for that audience, in 2023, she wound up selling the company. So that's why I said I was, proud that she was no longer a client of mine, and she's moved on to something else. But she was able to grow it, and she added a plain collagen powder as well just before she sold the company. So again, painted first. Paying attention to your audiences so you can speak directly to the audience and don't try to appeal to everybody, because that might mean you're shouting out to the wind. You don't know who's going to come right out there, who you're going to speak to. So very important subject lines, right? Got that? Hopefully. Okay, moving on here. So always, sorry, this was kind of backwards. I inserted my slide. So going back to the subject line in the pre-header or preview line here. Again, it says optimize it, pre-header text with 5 to 8 words or up to 90 characters on there. So we kind of saw these on here, offering Texas style barbecue close to home, 30% off across the store. So make it, so sometimes on a mobile device, this is all we're going to see. If you're not on a desktop that has the preview pane open, and you have to just make a decision as you're scrolling through your phone, like what's going to be interesting, you want to make sure that grabs their attention. Right. Let me just go back here. Hold on. I'm going to go back to the Q&A and see if I have anything new. Got that already. Okay. And I already answered the question about the platforms. Perfect. Okay. And I don't know if there was any in the chat. Let me go back and look. If you do have any questions I missed that you put in the chat, put them in the Q&A. Oh, so make sure they have readable large fonts. Yes, usually I have these full slide presentation open. So yeah, we had a little technical issue that did not allow it. So I apologize. These are a little smaller than usual. Okay, perfect. Okay, I don't see any questions. If I'm missing anything in the chat, just drop them in the Q&A and I'll grab them there next time I look. Okay, and here, this chat thing, or this Q&A box keeps popping open to half the screen. There we go. Okay, dropping it out of the way so I can see my slides. All right. Okay, so here, the subject line and pre-header line, kind of combining them together to help increase those opens. So again, it's from motivational speakers. Don't miss October speaker. And then RSVP today, space is limited, only 50 seats available. So definitely that scarcity and that urgency going on there. Everything office supplies, save up to 30%, coupon expires Saturday. Want to be very important, that urgency, right? Here's a special. Want to make sure that that's front and center if you're not going to see it, go have on the preview pane open on the desktop, right? So encourage them to take action, right? Definitely have a good, strong supporting image on there. The headline, what you're offering here, like 3 reasons to redesign your website now. Your body, how it will help the reader. Keep it short and sweet, not too much, right? As far as, too much text, too much reading, you want to make it very clear, especially because we have like such short attention spans. We're reading through our phones. Maybe we're doing it while we're waiting in line at the grocery store or quick while we're on the bus on the way to work or something. We don't have a lot of time. So people, if you have too much, they might just tune out, so you just want to be very succinct as much as you can. Button, always have a call to action button. They work better than text links, right? So buttons are shown to get more clicks than your text links. You can even test against that as well, do an A/B test. I was talking to, after my constant contact class I did a few weeks ago, a gentleman scheduled a strategy session, and the only factor I saw as we reviewed their emails, I said, you should use buttons instead of text links and trying different things to see if that changes it. Because everything they had were kind of long hyperlinks all over the place that really weren't giving a strong call to action. So make sure that it's schedule my presentation, give it an action thing, sign up now, shop now, purchase it, get info, make sure it's a very strong call to action, right? What do you want them to do? They should be a call to action in them. Right. So targeted emails generate 50% of all revenue, right? You want to send the right message to the right people. I talked about that earlier. Definitely important to segment if you can. right? So I already mentioned earlier, segment your list into smaller groups of contacts. So it could be different things, and depends on what information you're collecting, right? Not all of us collect, like, I don't know everybody's ages and their marital status. Doesn't matter for my business. I don't care if you're married or not. As a business owner, maybe it's geographically. Maybe I only do business with people in the greater Los Angeles area or directly in my zip code, which isn't the case. Some of you, if you have a physical location, that would be important. If maybe you do things for different parts of the country, maybe if you have the information based on their purchase history or what they've clicked on, right? So you can segment by what, special will tell you, like people clicked on this link, you can send them a different email. If they purchased, we've done this before. So say I like for a winery, I want everybody who's purchased Chardonnay in the last 6 months. Now, if they have the tool and their shopping cart's connected to their email, we can pull that up and then say, hey, we got our new Chardonnay released. Most likely people who's purchased it in the last 6 months might want to purchase that again. So however you can segment it, out there. If you have a product or service that has broad appeal, say men, women, children, everybody who could be interested in this product or service, you might then want to mix the marketing messages up and the look of the messaging. So if, like, say you do have a product or service that appeals to everybody, all age groups, I wouldn't just say focus on everything with a younger audience, right? Have some gray-haired folks in there, have some families with kids, so you really want to make sure you're speaking to your ideal audience with your content as well, the look and feel of it as well. That makes sense. So definitely consider your audience, think about your goals and information, set those expectations, right? How often, and it says send at least once a month, right? So the frequency of when you send how often you send, I'll talk about this a little bit. I don't have on slides, so I'm just going to kind of give you the oral presentation here on that. So the frequency on it. We have to look at human behaviors, right? We're all special in our own special ways, and we want to go off of how we do things or how we do things in general in life. So I kind of always equate this to Christmas shoppers, right? So we have some of us who are early birds in their life. Everything they do is early. And those are the ones that are Christmas shoppers that they get everything done by July, or maybe by this month, and they're done. They don't have to worry about it in the next quarter or whatever. So there's those special people. And then you have those of us who wait maybe until like Black Friday, Thanksgiving, right? Still have a month to go. So you have the kind of pelotons in the middle there. And then there are some of us who are like, oh, it's December 24th. We have still plenty of time to shop for Christmas, right? So it's tomorrow, still plenty of time. So none of those are wrong, right? We're all little special humans with our special behaviors. But you want to honor each of those when you're sending out emails. Not everybody's going to see that one quarterly newsletter you send out. Not that one time you sent, hey, we have a promotion going on. I'm just going to toss it out there and I don't want to annoy him with any more emails, right? Or you have an event coming up and you send it out super early, but then you don't send any updates to it. So keep those different human behaviors in mind with that. We might not always see that one email, and it's okay to send it more frequently. As you come up to events, if you can, 6 to 8 weeks before, start sending emails every week and then ramp up as you get closer. You can do a countdown, 5 more days to sign up for the event or 3 more days to join us for the event. Hey, it's tomorrow, right? So to give you an example with SCORE, so I teach for SCORE, and back, 2019, yes, that's that long ago. I was voluntold onto the marketing and workshop committee for SCORE Los Angeles, and we reviewed their emails. Now, this is fall of 2019, so this is just before COVID, and everything was live. All the workshops were live. For all SCORE chapters. And so people needed more advance notice. And of course, they had to go drive out to the event. So SCORE Los Angeles initially was sending out emails first of every month, an email went out, and then one a week, right? So then I said, well, wait a second. What if somebody offers a class on the 8th, right? Or they say the 7th, 6th or 7th. So they got the one email at the first, but then the next email is going to miss their next class. So you only had one chance to learn about that class that was in between those weeks of emails. So we changed it to send every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? So that started to increase how many people were starting to register for the classes. Then a few months later, March of 2020. We all know what happens, right? Everything switched to webinars for SCORE once COVID hit. So you could catch people that morning of, right? So then we switched the emails to still every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but then we also added the morning of because people didn't have to get out of bed and go drive, get dressed, go find parking, all that stuff. Especially here in LA, a lot of drive time. So we could send them the morning of saying, hey, starting in an hour or two as a class. And we had people sign up at the last minute. I still do that for my list. And some of the SCORE chapters I work with do send those out that frequency because we can, with that short of a notice. So definitely honor all those different human behaviors and know that not everybody's just going to see that one email that you sent out to remind them about an event or a special or promotion. So I say more frequently as we're ramping up to the holidays. If you're fourth quarter driven, everybody's going to be emailing. So definitely do not be afraid to get into the mix because how are you going to sell, right? Your competitor might be sending more emails than you. So don't be afraid to annoy, sell, not annoy your customers, right? Of course. Okay, providing seamless customer service follow-up always, of course. The same, there's never enough hours in the day, right? Anybody? I need a 36-hour work day. I don't know if I can handle that energy wise, but I always seem to be short of time. So definitely think about automation. So automations increases sales productivity by 14%, reduces overhead by 12. Automated abandoned cart emails have an average open rate of almost 30%. So some of you, if you have e-commerce and a cart attached, definitely should be doing abandoned cart. There's also browse abandon. I know Shopify and Wix have all of those in there. Welcome emails generate 160% higher open rates and 1,616% higher click-through rates out there. So definitely want to do welcome emails out there. If they signed up for your list, they want to hear from you. Remember, they signed up. You want them to know your organization, communicates with them when they're highly engaged, right? As soon as they sign up, welcome email. Thanks for signing up. Get that adoption guide. Tell them about what you do. Maybe ask for that donate. Have that donate today button down there, that call to action guide right there, and that call to action at the bottom. This is for that adoption guide. So of course, that's the first call to action on there, right? You want to get them while they're still hot. All right. So start engaging those new subscribers with a welcome message. Don't wait, right? I know people are gathering. Somebody mentioned, yeah, I have a list, but I haven't really done anything with it, right? So first thing you should do is send out a welcome message. If you can't send I was talking to somebody yesterday. They went to a conference and collected some names. People. Well, I think they did a contest. People who stopped by the booth and they actually signed up for the mailing list, but they hadn't touched it for months. So you want to get an email out, say, hey, great to see you at that event. We're going to start sending out exclusive materials, whatever they're going to type in there for the first message. So very important. If you collect birthdays or anniversaries, to send those birthday messages. You can automate that process through usually most of the email platforms out there, including Constant Contact. So if you have a business that's important to collect that information. I did this for the credit union. They hadn't been doing it before. And so every credit union member, you have to have their birthday. At least one of the members in the family has to have a birthday. And I started doing a monthly, well, daily, actually, everybody's birthday would get an email sent to them with a birthday message. And I would get the replies. And so many people would reply to those, thanking us for sending out a little happy birthday message from the credit union. So it's a nice thought to be remembered, right? Create other series with emails and text messages if you do text based on your goals, of course. And is anybody here doing text messaging as well as email? Raise your hand or say yes in chat. Let's see. I'm glad you like the morning of reminders, Gail. Let's see. Anybody? Do we have? I don't see any hand raises. So nobody's doing. Anybody doing? Oh yeah, we one text message. Are you doing both, James? Text and email, or is that just a yes to the text? Carol, same. Be curious to know. And how if you want to share, you don't have to, how it's working, how in comparison is email versus text for you. If you feel like sharing, you can. Appreciate that. So again, very important to start engaging people right away. And once you have their information, start using it. Don't wait. Oh, it depends on individual. Okay, well, good to know. Share whatever you feel like. Always curious to know. So triggers that can start an automation, right? Subscriber is added to a list, right? A contact tag is added, right? They're added to a specific segment, like somebody's dropped into the birthday list, or here it says anniversary or birthday. They click a link on an email. So that could trigger different automations that you can set up. Low engagement. So there are within constant contact, they do I say split the list, but they do show you the least engaged, what's called somewhat engaged, the most engaged. So people that are low engagement, you can maybe send an extra email, special email to see if you can get them to engage in there. So those are some things that you can trigger. Abandoned, so again, integrated with, at least for constant contact, WooCommerce, which is a WordPress, a shopping cart, Shopify. So if you have a shopping cart integrated, you can do the abandoned cart emails, place orders, fulfill, all that stuff would be, e-commerce based stuff to trigger those emails, like your shipping and order confirmations, all that. So when you're setting up basic automation, some of you probably already have set these up. They're basically, this is a real simple one. You have a trigger, right? Then the trigger happens. You might wait, a delay says wait 5 minutes or a day, and then it sends an email message. So say for the welcome, hey, they signed up for your email list. It sends it, you could wait 5 minutes. It could send it out right away. Thanks for signing up for our list. We look forward to engaging with you, whatever your message is, right? So very easy right here. And I thought I had it in here as well. Um, Constant contact, and I believe that some of the other platforms have it as well. When you're sending out an email, you can click a box at the end that says resend it to non-openers, right? So you can say, okay, send the one today at 9 o'clock in the morning, and 2 days from now, send it to people who didn't open the first one. So it's kind of an automation. And then there are other more sophisticated automations that you can do where you're splitting them into, depending on what the trigger is. Like, you sent out an email about tickets and like, did they buy the tickets? If yes, then you do one set of automations. If no, you do another set of automations. It's a little bit more sophisticated. I talk about that in another email class. So those are kind of the basics of kind of getting, building, attracting, and retaining customers. So I hope that was helpful to start. So first thing, next steps to your business, evaluate your email marketing efforts. Do you have a tool? Some of you I know said you don't have a tool yet. Some have tools. You have a list you haven't started using yet. Definitely look at, think about holidays coming up around the corner. You have a few weeks to get those wrapped up, as I mentioned. Understanding your resources, right? Do you have the capacity to send those emails out? And do you have a sending strategy at this point? You should. Explain the opportunities for growth. Are they any untapped opportunities or areas for expansion in your email strategy? And then, of course, planning for the future. Are you prepared to adapt your strategy and scale your efforts accordingly? So if you, I have two, now these are where you want to take out your camera phone, because I'm going to have 2 slides with QR codes on them. So the first one is mine. So if you want to schedule a free strategy session with me to ask questions about your email marketing or anything in marketing, you're welcome to scan that QR code on the right and go to callwithpatty.com. And I also have a LinkedIn Marketing Lab group. So on the left, you can scan that QR code. Join the group and make sure you go in and introduce yourself. I have no rules. You can shamelessly plug yourself, your business, put your links. Nothing illegal, but everything else is open. I want to encourage you because I think there's 1,500 other business owners in the room. So you never know who's in there that might want your services, or a collaborator connect with you. So join that and get involved. I answer questions there. So if you ever have any marketing questions, you can drop them in there as well, and I'll answer those there. And so one more QR code coming. This is a gift from Constant Contact. So we have 2 different offers here. You can sign up for a free trial. You get a free 30-day trial if you scan that QR code there. And also, if you go to that same link, you can, or use, if you don't want to wait for the free trial, you can sign up and get 30% off for 3 months. But make sure you go through that QR code to get that, use that code, the promotional code. So I'll leave that up here. And I'm just going to look and see if there's any questions. I finished this a little earlier. So let's see. I don't see any in the chat, and I don't see any new. If there's any questions, can drop them in the chat. Oh, can you share pros and cons? Okay, maybe I answered this already. Can you share pros and cons given the saturation of email communication? Pros and cons of sending emails? So I'm not sure if that was the question. I mean, definitely, I don't see any cons. I just go off of the pros. I'm not sure if that was a question or not. Oh, how is AI changing emailing? I don't think it's changed the importance of email. I mean, definitely there are AI tools to help you get your emails done. Constant Contact and some of the other tools do have AI built into it. So to help you write the emails and create things. So, I mean, I think it's helped, for anything, AI is helping us get content. I wouldn't solely rely on AI. I mean, definitely have some, human intervention as well. I'm not just saying that because I am a human doing marketing, but a lot of times AI might not give you the best direction or a more generic direction. So I would say use it, but don't use it where it's like, I don't need anybody. I'm just going to have the robots do my marketing for me. It's changing the landscape for everything, really, right? So very important to understand it. It's not going anywhere. It's funny. My mother's in the hospital, and they have a robot camera watching her, and I tell her it was on a stand and the camera in front of it, and I'm like, instead of a human assistant, it was basically it was like a robot camera, just watching her. She was pulling out her cannula. So they were watching to make sure she didn't do that. And I thought, wow, hopefully I'm not going to see robot nurses and doctors. So I'm not ready for that yet. Still would like to have the human touch there, but very important. So good question though. Definitely very useful to get email marketing done. Let's see. I really enjoyed this. Okay, perfect. Clothing company. It stands for why are you hating? I like that. Coming soon. I'm glad you liked it. Glad you took notes. So I think that's it. I'll pass it back to Swan if she wants to say a final goodbye. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Patty. A lot of resources. Please take advantage of the 30 minutes. Is it 30-minute, Patty?
Correct.
30 minutes free consultations with Patty. That's why she's here to assist all of you guys to better your business, to generate more income. Just a quick reminder, I just sent out a general reminder for our October 16 webinar has been moved to October 9, just this one time. Everything else is the same. Looking forward to see you on September 18. That topic is going to cover mastering holiday marketing before the rush. If you don't have any further questions, we are giving you just some time back for your business. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm looking forward to see you next month.
Thank you,
Appreciate your
everyone.
time.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Bye.
Thank you, Patty.
Welcome.
Bye.